My name is Donovid Sekulits. I'm the theater manager at Circle Cinema. I'm a proud queer Afro-Latino and Tulsa native and an old soul at heart. Today I have the unique privilege and opportunity to interview Jay Ellis. I'm a personal fan, and to talk about his new film, Top Gun Maverick. Um, Hello, Jay. Welcome.
What up? What's going on? It's good to be
Uh,
home.
Right. So what I could now, I'll be as I have been a fan for a long time. I didn't even know that you like lived here, and I'm disappointed in myself. So how long did you like live here?
Yeah, so I went to Byrd, I went to Carver, I went to Booker T, and then I graduated from Metro Christian. So I was in Tulsa for a while, man. It is what I consider home for sure. Some of my closest friends live there. My grandmother still lives there. I get back a couple times a year. All of my firsts are there.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's my city.
So one of the this is great segue then. One of the first questions I had for you was like, what was your favorite thing about Tulsa as a teenager? Also, like, what year was that?
Oh man. I gotta say, so two things. I would say two things. I grew up in an amazing basketball era and an amazing football era. So for example, like Eton Thomas while played at Booker T while I was in middle school, Ryan Humphrey was there as a senior when I was a freshman, Marcus Hill. We had an amazing football team. Jinx was insanely dominant at the time, and Union as well. They were like, this is like that whole Union Jinx battle, and like Union starting to come up.
I know all about that.
So
Former
that's definitely like my favorite period. One of my closest friends. Yeah, yeah. You could literally go to any basketball game or football game and you were watching an athlete who was going to go play division 1 sports, and it was absolutely amazing, and the competition was amazing.
So where was your favorite hangout spot after a game as a student?
Man, there's a Whataburger that we used to hit on Sheridan,
Oh my
like
gosh.
Sheridan and 61st.
Okay, I love me some
We
Whataburger.
used to hit that Whataburger all the time and get in the parking lot. We used to I'm trying to think where else did we really hang out? We used to do a lot of Arby's because one of the guys that we used to hang out with, Bo, his family was a part of the whole Arby's thing. So we used to like crash Arby's all the time and try to get free food because of him.
What, another food question, I guess. What's your like go-to snack at the movies?
Oh man, popcorn. Easy. I love popcorn.
You have like a great sense of style, and I wanted to know like who is like your style icon, or who like you look up to, and you're like, okay, this is why I'm gonna wear this.
I just believe that like we're meant to have fun when it comes to like fashion and when it comes to like what we wear. I often spend so much of my time in a wardrobe for a character. And so any chance I get to kind of express myself, I look forward to it. Like I love it. I think when I think of like icons, like I love Steve McQueen for his simplicity and coolness. I love oh man, there's so many like young folks that I'm super inspired by. Um, I think of like Alton, for example, who's a model who like is just killing it right now. I think I feel like I pull from so many different places. I feel like
But you looked really
basketball is
good.
also a place where like, you see all these, yeah, yeah, you see all these athletes now, like in these, walk into the locker room and like they look amazing. Like some of these guys, like LeBron looks amazing every single game. Steph Curry and
The
Klay
drip should
Thompson
always
and
be so hard. You should always, the swag. um
you gotta keep it. You gotta keep it 100.
yes, always. So what was your favorite thing about your role in like Top Gun Maverick?
First of all, just getting to work with Tom. It is such an amazing experience. I grew up. There's a movie theater just behind Woodland Hills Mall, right off of Memorial, and like that's where I
Yes.
saw every single movie when I was a kid.
I know exactly what you're talking about because I grew up over there
and
too.
and so like, you know, I've seen Mission Impossible in there, and I've seen so many of Tom's movies in there. And so I think that for me was like such a huge highlight, was like getting to work with someone who I've gotten a chance to watch all this time, and I've idolized, and I've wanted a career like that person. And now I'm getting to work with them side by side every day. And then I think, you know, you get into the job and you start working, and, you know, you meet these amazing people and your castmates who become like, they feel like lifelong friends because you go through this together, and then you each start to carve out your lane of who your character is in this larger story. And the thing that I keep coming back to is like, I love that like Payback is this guy who's like super cocky. He truly believes he is the best of the best. And he doesn't have to talk it. Like he's just like, I just walk into a room and like, I'm the best one here. And like, no, you're going to have to prove to me otherwise. And I love that guy that has to get humbled, who has that sense of confidence, but has to get humbled and ultimately realize that in order for him to be the best, and in order for this team to be the best it can be, that means he's going to have to like, you know, he's going to have to learn some things and humble himself a little bit. And so I think that is what I loved about this character.
So one of the things I always like, I'm curious when I like watch something and I'm a fan of, is like, okay, did this person, the actor, like, did he keep anything from set? So was there anything that you kept, or you kept as a memento of your filming?
Yeah, man, there was all kinds of stuff. We got stuff from the Navy. We got these coins. They give out these coins in the Navy for different squadrons. And the higher ranking the coin, if we both have coins, if mine is higher ranking than yours, then you got to pay for drinks.
Oh,
So we were collecting coins. We were collecting patches. I took the you know, the Top Gun, you know, the thing that has like the name of the movie, and then it has like your name on my name, Jay Ellis, on the back of it. Definitely took that.
oh,
I
that's so
tried to take
cool.
my flight suit, but they weren't having that. I tried to take my helmet, but
Costumes are
Paramount was
expensive.
not letting that happen. They are. They are. They are.
So what did you have to do to like prepare for this role that like maybe challenged you as an actor?
This was really interesting from anything I'd ever done before, because so much of this was physical. So much of this was like, you were truly acting under physical stress. You weren't manufacturing it and just thinking what the stress felt like and then acting. You were actually doing it. And so, you know, the flight training that we had to do for this was really extensive. We did like 40 hours, 45 hours of flight training. And then we got into the F-18s. And the whole purpose of it, Tom created this flight training program. And the whole purpose was, they didn't do it in the first movie. And he wished he had it. And so he created it for us. And it was so you could be able to endure you know, taking G's for sustaining G's for a certain amount of time. And you had to build this endurance to it. And, you know, that is one thing to get used to in itself, is this like, you know, it feels like an elephant is sitting on your chest while you're trying to say a line and look cool
Oh
at
my
the same
goodness.
time. But then you also had to roll the cameras, and you had to direct the pilot on like which direction to turn the planes, to put the sun in a certain place, and what maneuvers you needed them to pull, if you needed them to dive, if you needed them to barrel roll, whatever it is, you were also doing that as well. So, you know, there was a lot that we had to constantly be aware of. And the physical part of it, I think, was when you I really believe that like when you're uncomfortable as an actor is where you find growth, and where you find things that like you may have not, choices that you may have not had if you were comfortable.
And that just like shows like your dedication to, like the arts, and how serious you took, being in this role. uh i was I think about, I watched Beyonce's Homecoming documentary on Netflix, and she talks about how she's like, this was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. She's like, I will never do it again. So my question to you is like, would you go through, something as intensive preparing for this for another film or TV show in the future?
100%, you know, especially if Tom was there. But I'll say like one of the things that Tom kept stressing to us when we first started this is he wanted to teach us how he makes his films, and he wanted to show us, you know, how he prepares for them and what he does and how he treats his body and how he, you know, is constantly crafting story and character arc and things like that. And so when you see it all the way that we've gotten to see it now. And you see the specificity and the detail and the amount of attention put into training and into safety, most importantly. You know what to take with you to the next job. We learned how to do an action movie from the biggest movie star on the planet.
You talked about like the things you've had to do, but I guess in terms of experience, what was the biggest difference between like filming on Top Gun Maverick and like filming Insecure?
It's a different skill set. Acting is acting, and we all have our background and how we get to character and craft character and backstory and things like that. Insecure was really great because you're just in there every day with really phenomenal actors, and you guys are just so in the moment, and you're so locked to each other, and like every single thing is like something for you to absorb, a gift as an actor, because you get to absorb it, right? And it 100%, if you're present, it 100% can really affect or influence a choice. It was the most vulnerable I've ever had to be in my life, the most in my feelings I've ever had to be in my life. And Top Gun was the exact opposite. Like Top Gun was like we were gunslingers. Like it was like a Western, and like we're all standing in the town square, and it's like, yo, it's gonna be one of us. One of us is going down, and it's not gonna be me today. And that was a completely different skill set, because that is like a character who leads with their front foot, as opposed to like Lawrence from Insecure, who lives life, on his back foot. And then again, like just the physicality of it. And you're also stepping into a culture of Top Gun that has been around for decades, right? So there's also this thing of like making sure that you were tapped into something that, like, if the Top Gun guys believe it, then everybody else in the world will believe it. And like that is also like, that was a very completely different thing than Insecure, where like that world of Insecure is like, it's my world. I know that world. I grew up in that world, and my friends are in that world. I know a lot of those characters. This was us stepping into a world that we didn't know, and so the authenticity had to be there too.
There's a lot of talk about like diversity in Hollywood, and telling real people's stories, and you are one of many voices, and faces that get to be on TV and film, that get to like portray these things. And so what, coming from Tulsa, and growing in a Black community like the one Tulsa has, like what do you have to, like, what advice would you give to like the next Jay Ellis's, like the filmmakers and actors, and people who want to do what you do, because you're going to be somebody's Denzel Washington, I want you to know. So
Hey, I appreciate that. That's a tall order, but I appreciate it. The thing that I always think is like, just remember why you do it. Number one, I think it's easy to lose sight of why you do it, and I think you have to keep that in your heart, and you got to protect that. The second thing is like authenticity. Always make sure that you feel that you are playing a character who feels real to you, who feels like someone in this world who you may have seen or known or crossed paths with. And the last thing for me is, study, 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 study. I still watch as much as I possibly can. Whether that's TV, whether that's film, it's my peers, it's people I don't know, it's foreign films, it's television shows. I literally try to consume as much as I can, and not because some of it is pure entertainment, but so much of it is studying, and it's studying, other actors, it's studying filmmakers' choices, and it's studying writing. And the more you're paying attention to those things, you learn a lot. You learn a lot from success, and you learn a lot from failures. And there are tons of lessons out there, because this is, it's 100+ year old medium. We've been doing this for a while, and there's an opportunity for you to really go craft your career after somebody you really admire if you just go study their choices.
well, thank you so much for your time, Jay. It's been such a pleasure talking to you.
It's been fun, man. Always for Tulsa, anytime.